This malevolent portrayal of the IDF is carefully and systematically planned, cultivated, developed, expanded, and relentlessly driven forward. It is the key part of what amounts to nothing less than a pernicious and increasingly dangerous global conspiracy of propaganda aimed at the total delegitimization of the State of Israel. A conspiracy that has so far exceeded in its international scope anything dreamt of, even by that master of propaganda, Dr. Joseph Goebbels himself, spreading the idea that Israel is so evil that it has no right to exist, aiming for the point where that idea becomes an acceptable mainstream argument in our Western societies. It is no surprise, of course, that such a campaign has great popularity in the Arab and the wider world, any more than Goebbels' twisted propaganda machine succeeded in persuading so many Germans to his murderous cause. But what is truly shocking is the traction that this propaganda has gained in the West. Among student bodies, teachers, university authorities, academics, think tanks, human rights organizations, aid agencies, parliamentary bodies, and perhaps most damaging of all, the mass media. A favorite vehicle for the anti-Israel conspiracy is the United Nations Human Rights Council. The report of the UN fact-finding mission into the 2009 Gaza conflict, better known, or more infamously known as the Goldstone Report, accused Israeli forces of war crimes and possible crimes against humanity, deliberately killing, wounding, and terrorizing innocent civilians. The report was endorsed on 2 occasions by the General Assembly of the United Nations. But only last month, Judge Richard Goldstone retracted the most serious allegations that he had made, saying that Israel did not, in fact, intentionally kill or wound innocent civilians. He wrote that if he had known at the time of his investigation what he knows now, the Goldstone Report would have been a very different document. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I, with my far more limited resources and access, could have told him a great deal of what is now apparently new to him. In fact, I did tell him at the time of his report, in evidence that I gave to the United Nations Human Rights Council in October 2009, I said that during its operation in Gaza, the Israeli Defense Forces did more to safeguard the rights of civilians in a combat zone than any other army in the history of warfare. The most powerful weapon in this conspiracy are legal, diplomatic, and media. Fundamentally, we are talking about a war of words, words that are given unprecedented potency by the internet and by the globalization of the 21st century. In this war of words, all that is necessary for this evil conspiracy of delegitimization to triumph is for good men to say nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by adding to the theme of this conference. As a friend of Israel, of course, I believe in Israel, as I know we all do in this room. As a lifelong soldier, I believe also in the brave, dedicated, and democratically accountable soldiers of the Israeli Defense Forces who sacrifice so much for the defense of Israel and also for our Western democratic values.